Hello, welcome to Retrotainment. Back here with my co-host, capital C, capital O, Greg. How are you doing, buddy?
What's happening, homie?
Nothing much, nothing much. We're joined here by an old alumni of this show, but
Royalty himself.
one that hasn't had the honor to be here with Greg on the times that we have recorded because they are not the same person. Both bald, both have a beard, but they are not the same person. I told you they weren't, and you knew that if you were watching on the slab. We have the king himself, which is why I'm in the throne room here. But he has guitars on each side of his thing, and you can't see it, but there is drumsticks above his chair. Carl King, whoa, how are you doing, buddy?
All good, boys. How are we keeping?
Great.
Great to be back on Retrotainment, lads.
Yeah, everyone's going to assume that we're doing something to relate with horror here now with you two boys, but it's
Really? I'd never have guessed that.
No.
It's actually something a little bit different here this time. We're going with Carl's other show, King Woes Court, which is I've been on. It's all about music. So Carl is going to give us his top 10 films that revolve around music, not musicals.
No, that's a different top 10 altogether.
Let's just get that out there. If
That's
you're
a top
here,
three.
if you're here looking for musicals,
Sweeney Todd.
if you're out here looking for musicals, that's not what you're going to get here, right? It's
No.
top 10 films about music. So we'll let you go with your first one. So obviously start from the bottom, Carl. Don't give us the good stuff first. Start at the bottom.
No. So making this list, it was difficult. And then like I had to, make 4 or 5 different lists, but changing things around. So, I mean, I think the first 5 are definite lock-ins, but from 10 to 5 I'd be like, oh, maybe I could have put that higher. I don't know, but we'll
It's
go
always
and
tough,
see.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Always tough doing this.
You can give us 2 honorable mentions before number 1 then.
Yeah, if you have a few that you just had to leave off.
Yeah, okay. You have that list over there somewhere, but we can look at that in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
have a printer page.
Facts.
The Jericho 1004 holes. Carl reading through this big list. Carl, hang on now. we gotta go to commercial here, man.
So starting off at number 10, Greg, you're gonna be glad that this is in the list, but probably not happy that it's at number 10, and that's The Doors.
Oh, I love this. If I said on a previous episode of other shows, if a man's ever born to play something, Val Kilmer was born to play Jim Morrison.
It's exactly how I imagined Morrison was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And what I like, and what I like about that is the band didn't like the film.
Of course they didn't.
Because it told everything, warts and all. And that's Oliver Stone did a great job with that film.
Yeah, that man hits off on so many bangers.
Yeah.
Like that was perfectly cast. The Doors are my favorite band.
One of mine.
I fucking love this movie. I'm gonna come on Netflix. I watched it 3 times when it came out and back on Netflix there a while ago.
Deadly.
I was like, yep, all in.
Yeah.
And it's not a short film either.
No.
It's 2:45, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. A lot of career to pack into it,
But
well, a lot of madness, really, that more than the career itself.
Well, he was dead. He was dead at 27.
Yeah, but like even with having died in the 27 club, there was a lot of stuff happened in that short space of time for him. So obviously, like 2.5 hours probably left out quite a lot that we'll never know. But
I'm in the boat that they would have been the single biggest band ever. They would have outsold everybody.
I think so. And we've discussed this, Greg. I would have loved to hear what they would have made if he hadn't died. Because
even if he had got another 2 or 3 years, because the music had started to change
for the better. And not that there was nothing wrong with any of the and I don't think they have a weak album at all. But LA Woman for me is my favorite album, and it was just like, imagine if they had brought another 2 albums out with Jim Morrison, it would have been class.
Yeah. The man was just a music writing machine.
I think they hit their stride at the end, like just before he passed away. They had hit their stride. They'd found a new sound. Yeah. They found a new sound to what they had been, and they were striding into it.
Yeah.
And then obviously he passed away, and that was kind of the end of that sort of.
Like what I love about one of the scenes I love is when they're recording LA Woman, and at the end of the film, and he's in the jacks singing his vocals.
Yeah.
I love that.
Do you know what? It's the movie from start to finish, like that should have been like as good as it is. That could have really should have been Oscar nominated. I'd say at the time.
I think so.
I can't remember what beat it out. Like it definitely should have got like an Oscar nom for best musical or whatever. It's Academy
Best soundtrack or whatever. Yeah.
It was like that's just a full album, and it's just immense. Like, and it's not an easy watch either.
No.
By any stretch of the means.
It was a strange. It was a strange. This like these all kind of came out. Like a couple of films like this came out in quite a short space of time. Like and it was kind of a strange take to go with. You know, like let's take a famous musician or band and let's make a film about their progression, but not a documentary.
Yeah.
But an actual film, but it does detail their. It was a very strange decision to do it. But it did work, and maybe the reason it wasn't getting the nominations for the likes of these, best soundtrack and stuff is because I suppose it's less of a soundtrack. Different. Yeah, it's not really a soundtrack in the sense of a lot of what a soundtrack is. Like,
yeah, I suppose like, it's literally just an album.
It's about a band. Like it's about a band, so it's all their songs. It's not really a soundtrack. Fair. Like you couldn't have a film about the Doors without having the Doors songs in it, you know.
But I do think that there's people would associate their songs with the time as well. So and a lot of their stuff would be used in soundtracks from other films. So the great thing about that is it's essentially a soundtrack. It is a soundtrack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like they're all recognizable songs that they would have used. So, I know where you're coming from, where you're saying it's not really a soundtrack, but it kind of is, you know?
Yeah, in a different film it might be, but because it's specifically about the Doors, having the Doors songs playing in a film about the Doors is less of a soundtrack and more of a necessity, I suppose, rather than the other way around.
Storytelling,
I imagine the Doors film with no Doors songs in it.
with the Beatles.
Yeah. This is weird.
Doesn't make it easy anyway, does he?
No.
None of his films are an easy watch.
But I think that's his best film, in my opinion, anyway.
That or Any Given Sunday for me.
Another great film. Oh
yeah.
We covered that in a previous episode as well.
Yeah, no, that's a solid shout. Like this, I think I know where you're coming from when you were saying the 6 to 10s could all mix and match with each other, because today I could put that at 10 and tomorrow I could be like, actually no, it's 6.
Yeah, I basically just did these to have something there, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. That tends to be the case with a lot of lists like this, I think.
Wait, so will we move on to number 9 or
move on to number 9? Yeah,
definitely.
Number 9 is a fucking awesome film, and when I look at my list now, I'm raising I didn't put it up just outside the top 5. It's a film from Ireland, and it's The Commitments. Yes,
Commitments. Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, can it be anything other than The Commitments?
Yeah,
because 9 does seem low, but then again, as we said, it day to day, like depending on which one you watched, it could move.
That's why I made that disclaimer at the start of my list.
Yeah, needed to be made.
In terms of if you handed these 10 movies to an American, it's probably going to be lower down the list. It's only because we're looking at it with Irish eyes.
Yeah, there's probably a bias there. Yeah, like will be fair.
It's a very good film, but is it better than The Doors? Probably not.
But here's the thing: it's my list.
Yeah. No, but that's what I mean. Like, that's what I'm saying. If you handed it to someone, is it a better film than The Doors? Probably not. Is it a better film than, I don't know, whatever else is on the list? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's a different type of film because it's about a fictional band.
Yeah, which is great.
Band. Yeah,
it's a Barrystown trilogy, isn't it?
Yeah. So whereas if you had The Doors was as we said, a biopic, right?
Yeah.
The Commitments is about a fictional band, but around the music that was made then, you know. Yeah. So it's a different. I wouldn't say. It'd be unfair to say if is it better than The Doors or not. But
it's a different film.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, depending on what mood you're in, it could be better, or you could.
As I said, The Doors isn't an easy watch. The Commitments is a lot easier of a watch.
It's more relatable as well because we're from Ireland and we're from Dublin.
Yeah, there's probably.
Excuse me, I am not from Dublin.
No, me and Greg are two Wicklow boys.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's because I'm from Dublin and I'm from the north side that I actually get this film. You probably haven't a fucking clue what's going on.
Not a nose,
And
no.
never, we've never
I know
gone
that
into the
place.
north side.
Been
We've
to
never
the
been
north
into the north side. No, it's a strange one because I think for how good it is, I think being Irish does
Push it up.
tempt you a bit to push it, like, and I suppose that's where Greg's kind of coming from. Like, if you're American and have no roots to Ireland, maybe it doesn't rate this high. But as you said, it's your list, and you are Irish, so it's obviously
You
going
put
to.
that number one, and no one can tell you you're wrong.
Exactly.
Well, actually, I would, unless it's Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story is not number one, and it doesn't count.
What I do, the Doors aged well. Look wise.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think the Commitments aged well. It looks very much of its time. Sometimes I don't mind that with a film if it looks of its time, but when they looks, like they look bad, and if it just looks like it's you're watching like you need see some of those films and you're watching them and they, as I said, they haven't aged well, and you're just like, I just wish there was a cleaner version of it or something.
I don't know if I agree with that. To me, it looks. Have you seen the other way America have this thing about making Ireland look like we're in the Stone Age when they come over? That's what it looks like to me.
Well, compared to now, it looks like the fucking Stone Age.
Yeah, I know, but like that's what I mean. It looks like an American has made it to look that way.
Yeah.
Like even when you watch, I don't know. Like I know it's a rom-com, but like the likes of P.S. I Love You is filmed up in Inniskerry, and some of it's filmed in Bray. Do you know what I mean? And like Bray's nothing like that. Inniskerry's nothing like that.
Yeah.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Things like that, and it's just made Ireland's made to look something it's really not.
They paint Ireland as this sort of quaint, not as progressed country over in the likes of the States and stuff like that. What I liked about the Commitments is they're very they didn't try and do that. They were very real to what life is like. Now, obviously, I didn't grow up in North Dublin, but like they're very real to what it's like to grow up in Ireland and to grow up in Dublin and things like that. Like they were very true to that. They didn't try and be like, no. It's all roses and it's all glitz, glamour, and roses. No. It's very like, it's a bit shitty at times, lads. Like there's some shitty stuff here, and they are very true to that, which I think is great.
When did that come out? 1990, was it, or
91? I think
91.
So it's definitely early 90s anyway.
Commitments. Let me just check here.
I was 14. If it was 91, I was 14. So I was growing up exactly in around that era.
Yeah.
And it was like that. It was like that.
Exactly. And that's the thing. They were very true. Like it might not be so much like that now, but for the time, it was it was very close to home to what it would have been like. So no, definitely deserves to be there. From three Irish boys, it definitely does. But
I mean, I think my mad disowned me if that wasn't on the list.
Well, you can tell her it's on the list, right? There you go.
You just made the list.
Well, now that I'm looking at my list, that should have been higher in my opinion. But for number 8, it's another film about like fictional people, but around music that they love. Well, that one person loves. It's called School of Rock.
Oh my God, what a movie
with Jack Black.
Fucking Black.
I was going to be very upset if this wasn't on your list now, to be honest, because as much as this is like, it's kind of a kids friendly sort of film,
it's brilliant.
This is so good. And one of the things I love about it is the message that comes across in this film.
I was literally just about to go
with that how Jack Black is just like, no, I don't care if you don't think you have anything to offer. You do. What are you going to do? You can be the band manager. What are you going to do? You can be
something for everyone. Yeah.
Sound engineer. What are you going to do?
Make the costumes.
You make the costumes. There's something for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, and like everyone's just like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, here, build some confidence.
Yeah.
Now obviously he's there's a few questionable bits. I mean, like he's not a teacher and he goes in and takes the job. Very questionable. But
the kids get into his apartment.
Yeah, maybe
just takes them off in a van.
Yeah,
but doesn't it go you just sorry to cut across you there? Doesn't it go you to show you how much the world has changed, the world view has changed of things? Because that's not that an old film. That's not old.
No, that's like 2005,
something like that.
Something like that, isn't it? It's
definitely not that old. Yeah, you wouldn't be like you'd have to change that now.
Yeah.
So good. Like even like as Ted said, they're getting them to build confidence, but you have your own style. That's what it pretty much is. You like what you like, and no one can tell you any different.
Yeah.
Like,
He's
remember the
great
bit where
as well.
he's getting the kids to name their favorite bands?
Yeah.
Like this, that, and the other. And the little kid comes out and is like, Liza Minnelli.
Yeah.
This is a classic of like films based around music and stuff, because like as much as the message is great, it's so funny to sit down and watch as well, isn't it?
It's enjoyable.
Jack
Yeah. He had a rich vein of form with films.
Yeah.
He really did.
He's still doing it though. I know he's
Yeah.
retired. He says he only wants to do one more movie, and that's working with Tarantino.
He says that, but like something else comes up, he'll do it as well, you know?
Exactly. But like, see when he's allowed to kind of do what he wants with those films, because I think his friend wrote it and directed it for him. So like that's his, outside of Tenacious D, I think that was his pet project, you know?
Yeah.
So because he's singing the songs, he loves all the music, he likes metal, he likes rock, and getting to jam it with kids that can actually play the fucking songs as well. I'd say that was a great.
Miranda Cosgrave's in it, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's the manager though, isn't she?
Yeah.
Summer.
Yeah. She went on to have a singer, like a very different style of music, but she went on to have a singing career herself.
And
after
an
that
acting
and
career,
stuff. Yeah. But
Craig and Josh and things like that.
Yeah. What's very interesting though with this one is, like as you said, Carl, it's a fictitious story, like it's not real, but it's Jack Black. Like this is a guy who, you know, it's a pet project because this is a guy who loves music. Like his life is loving music, and not just a certain style. This man just loves music. So he obviously has his preference, but you know, he has an appreciation for all like styles, genres, everything. And what I love is that that's what he wanted. He was just like, I just want to go in. I just want to make a film about music where music is the focus.
Yeah.
Yes, there's all these other bits and pieces, but like because he's a musician, like that's his one true passion. And he wanted to make that, and his character, their passion is to be a rock star. So like it's basically him if he hadn't become successful. Like that's the way I always viewed it. Like this is what Jack Black would have been like.
It's almost a biopic.
Yeah, it's almost like if
Black's life.
If he hadn't managed to become successful as a singer, this is what Jack Black would have done to me. Like that's what I think. You know, he'd been going into schools and bringing them off on school trips and stuff.
Pretending to be a teacher when he's not. Wearing the school uniform on stage.
Going to the battle of the band.
Yeah, so good. It's incredible. Like what a choice.
Yeah, I really like that film. But what I do like about it before we move on is there's little bits in it that if you're a musician, you'll be like, yeah, that's happened before in the studio, or that's happened in the jam room, or hold on a minute, that's like how we made a song or whatever. You know, there's little bits that you'll go, yeah, that's kind of familiar, like, you know. So that's
all the things that have probably happened to him.
Yeah,
probably. Give us a little insight there, Carl. Go on. What's one or two of them? Give us a few nuggets there to the backstage.
There's nothing of that one, but there is something I will tell you later on. But well, I mean, like, see the way, like the way they write, or the way they start playing "Smoke on the Water." You know, the way it's like, now you play that bit and you play that bit. So like my band I would have directed the band for a particular song, and I can't play music, right? And so I'm like, you play that bit, and this is nothing to do. Like I didn't reference School of Rock or that. I just went, you play that now. Now hang on a minute. Now stop. Hold off for a minute. You play that bit there. Yes. Yeah, brilliant. Now play it together. I did it exactly like what he does in the film. And then at the end of it, they were all like, Jesus Christ, why can't you play fucking instruments, Carl? I was like, I don't know.
Maybe you need to go and learn, you know?
I don't need to.
Yeah, I just tell you how to play and you do it. So
yeah.
You make me money.
That's what being the leader of a band is.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I wonder, were you subconsciously channeling your inner Jack Black without realizing it, being like, I know what to do.
The beard.
and the belly. Yeah, great film. Love it.
Yeah, no, it's a great one to put in. Very different to the other two as well.
Yeah, there's a good mix in Me 10, I think.
Yeah, that's good. Well, that's what I want.
There we've gone like it's a drama, it's kind of a coming of age comedy, and then just a straight up comedy.
Yeah, kids comedy. Yeah.
And there's no kind of romantic story in it really.
No,
You
It's
know?
only, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Which is good.
Well, there is. There's the friend and his missus who's a dickhead.
Yeah, but that's not a focal point. Do you know what
yeah,
I
like
mean?
that's kind of the
that's it,
sideline. Yeah, like he's not trying to impress
Yeah.
some other teacher,
Impress the
being like,
principal
"Oh,
or
look how great I am with kids." There's nothing like that. This is literally just the thing I'm trying to impress is my one true love, music.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is great. Yeah, it's
I
a
love
great
it.
way to see it.
So number 7, the guy who made this film more or less plays the same character in every film. That should give it some sort of a hint. He's
Plays-
more or less the same character. What?
He plays the same character in every.
More or
film.
less the same character in every film.
Is it a comedy?
Yes.
Is it Airheads?
No, I told you that wasn't on the list.
He did tell you that Airheads
did
wasn't
tell
on the
me that.
list before we came on. So
Well, now the folks know.
yeah, now everyone knows that Airheads did not make it.
Yes, and it's not even on an honorable mention, so don't be worrying about
Because
it.
it's because it's terrible.
Yeah, it doesn't deserve to be.
This one is The Wedding Singer.
Yes.
Oh yes, Adam Sandler.
Yes.
Plays a very similar style to everything.
Yo,
yeah.
yo,
Was this his first one?
I think this is one of the first ones that really
Well-
set him to being big. Yeah.
One of his first ones, yeah.
This Billy Madison and is it Little Nicky were the first big three,
Yeah.
I think
and
so.
Happy
Yeah.
Gilmore then came after that.
Oh, what a film.
That's the one that
Um,
really sparked him, though, isn't it?
Thi-
Happy
yeah,
Gilmore.
this one's fucking brilliant though.
Just before we go
know,
on to Wedding Singer, would any of you loving to see a film about Shooter McGavin? I love Shooter McGavin.
Yeah, I'd watch a film about shooters.
Christopher
would-
McDaniel.
Yeah.
Oh, he's brilliant. Sorry, I just off going there. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'd watch
well,
it.
Rumor has it he's still buried in the car park.
I well believe it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wedding
love-
Singer.
I love just before that, you know, at Masters time there, where you see the pictures go around. This is a golf legend and Tiger Woods.
Yeah,
that was good.
It's
Yeah,
true though.
yeah everyone knows him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
All the
Wedding
women know
Singer.
Tiger.
Yeah. Wedding Singer, though, is something else now, to be honest. Like, this
Yeah.
was a real, like, him
Next
stepping
level
into being a big time comedy actor,
Yeah,
and he nailed it in this.
but it's another feel good. It's a feel good film with romance in it. It's a romantic
Yeah.
film.
This is kind of a rom-com sort of one.
Yeah. Which again, I don't often go for them. Otherwise, I'd be doing a different type of podcast with Greg. You know, man. But,
So we have that rom-com Thursday coming up.
oh yeah.
Sorry, we weren't supposed to drop that in.
Zomcom. It's what it's Zomcom.
Rom-com.
But I love the way there's competing wedding singers in it.
Yes.
You know, yeah, man. Like, he's like the kind
Steve
of
Buscemi.
there's him, and then there's the kind of the guy who's evil. You know him. I can't remember his name, but he's
Is
like
it
a
Rude?
direct rival. Or
Is
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 Mhm.
it Rudy? Is it Rudy?
I'm not.
Yeah, Tim Rudy. It is. His name's
Tim
Rudy. It's
Hertley.
Yeah,
Herty or
yeah.
something like it's something like that. Yeah.
He's killing it.
Yeah. It's a strange one because does Adam Sandler sing in it?
Sounds like he does in that
seems
song.
to-
I wanna grow old with you. I
Yeah.
think he sings that.
That's why I was never sure. Does he actually sing it, or is it somebody that's just able to sing and do his voice at the same time?
Yeah.
No, I don't
Because
know.
I don't know if he's got singing ability. Do you know, like not everyone can sing. That's
Mm.
like 100%. Some people just can't sing. So I'd wonder, is it him or is it somebody just
You know,
that's able to do his voice and sing?
I'm happy to think that it's him.
Yeah, I'm happy to think it's him. I just wonder.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Like this started off a couple of movies as well with him and Drew Barrymore.
That's right. Yeah.
They picked off a couple of good ones as well. Then they done this, obviously 51st Dates. And then there was another one they brought out a couple of years later. Actually, a couple of years ago that I can't remember the name of, where he's a single parent and she's a single parent. And it was very good. But like them two hit it off really well. They have great chemistry together.
Yeah. Can you remember what she was going to be called, or her marriage name was going to be?
No, I haven't seen it in years.
Julia Goulier.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh my
Now that
god.
you say it.
Come on, Glenn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Billy Idol's in this, isn't he?
Billy
Yeah,
Idol.
he's on the
Yeah.
plane at the end of it. Yeah,
I liked that they got an
King.
actual musician in to
Yeah.
like just to solidify. Yes, we are a film about music. Yes.
yeah.
Thing's in it as well, isn't she? Christine Taylor, Ben Stiller's wife.
Yes.
I don't think she was his wife then, but yeah,
No,
she is.
but she's in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Very
She's
good.
the sister.
She is the sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's Julie's sister, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, Julie Gooley. I forgot that. Oh, it's been too long since I watched that film.
Go watch it,
I
guys.
think I'm gonna go watch that soon. Yeah.
Yeah, great film, enjoyable, good
Yeah.
feels, good vibes, good music in it. What more could you want?
So far, that's probably the easiest one to watch.
Yeah,
I
That
don't
or School
know.
of Rock, yeah.
School of Rock is probably level with being as easy to watch.
Mm.
I like that you've had nothing in the similar genre. Like I know they're all music related, but we've had a rom-com, a kids, a biopic, and a kind of coming of age kind
Yeah.
of one. It's very different.
well,
I
see,
like
that's the
this.
thing.
I like
People,
this.
people probably would have expected me to go for the same kind of ones all the way down.
Yeah.
But there's no musical horror films really that I like, so that's not
Yeah.
going to happen.
Sweeney Todd probably be the one really I can think
That's
of.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Unless you get those weird people that think Little Shop of Horrors is a horror.
yeah, it's not. It's a
Mm.
musical.
No, it's a musical and it's not even a good one.
Oh, I'd agree with you there.
Oh,
So-
Ray gonna kill you, Ted.
I know Ray might like it, but it's I'm not a big musicals guy anyway, so my opinion on what's a good musical and isn't a good musical isn't really worth all
Then
that.
again, I don't like the Rocky Horror Picture Show either.
Don't say that.
But guess what's on the list?
It's not on the list, believe it or not.
Is it a horror though?
You obviously don't like it.
No, I do. I just didn't put it on this list.
I know, yeah.
Is it a horror though?
I would
No.
class it as a light horror, a light. What would you say? Horror comedy. You know?
I
Yeah.
mean, it's got a Clockwork Orange feel about it in a way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's because of the way it was
Shot.
filmed. You know.
Yeah. the
Yeah.
way
I think
shot, yeah.
I think it's one of the only Tim Curry movies I don't like.
Oh, I love him in it. I absolutely love him. He's
Oh,
fucking
he's
brilliant.
phenomenal at everything. I just don't like the movie itself.
Yeah,
I get-
and it's not for everybody. That's the thing.
I wouldn't sit down and watch it overly often because I'm not a musicals guy. It's not bad. It's not something that I like. Musicals just aren't my thing. So
Yeah,
it is one of the few that I've watched and enjoyed to an extent. So I suppose that means it is really good.
yeah,
Because if you're into musicals, maybe it's really, really good then. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not something that, say, just people who wouldn't necessarily like a lot of music would watch it. I could watch it if it's on every time, but it's not like I'd go to watch it every time. Do you know what I mean?
wouldn't
But
be
if it's
like
on,
it wouldn't be a go-to for you.
no, but I do love it.
Yeah. Okay.
So there we go. That's The Wedding Singer.
Yeah, that's number 6, was it? No,
Seven.
that was 7.
hmm So number 6 is probably the most recent one of them all, actually, and this is
Thing it has to be Sing.
no, it's not, man.
Moana.
I did try. I was going to put that in, but I didn't. This is actually about my daughter's favorite band.
Oh.
So
Oh, I have an idea what it
you
is.
have, I think you have an idea. It's Bohemian
Slayer.
Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody.
I
I
don't
know.
watched it not so long ago. It's fucking phenomenal.
It
How many
is.
times has she seen Queen?
She's never seen them live.
How many times has she seen Slayer live?
4.
So her favorite band is Slayer. Done.
It was,
So-
I'll let you
Sorry.
have that discussion with her, okay?
Well, she can watch this and she can learn what her favorite band is. It's now Slayer. Sorry.
As much as I love that idea, don't you think it's great that a 15-year-old in this day and age loves Queen as her favorite band?
I mean, are you ever going to get a better frontman? As much as I love the Doors,
Yeah.
you're not going to get a
Agreed.
better frontman than Freddie Mercury.
Frontman and singer songwriter.
He was the best.
Yeah.
You know, he was the best. And what I love about this film, first of all, I was able to sit down and watch it with Kerry. And what I mean by that is, if they hadn't made the kind of film that we all kind of know Sacha Baron Cohen wanted to make,
Walking
You
around,
couldn't-
walking around with
Yeah.
trays of cocaine.
Kerry couldn't have watched it, where she was able to watch it and enjoy it for what it was, for the music and the whole recreation of Wembley. You know, that was phenomenal. That was epic.
Remy Malek was brilliant.
He was fantastic.
Yeah. I have to say that the casting of this was very, very well done.
Yeah.
The shots that they made of it, and as you say, like her daughter's 15 and she loves Queen.
Yeah.
I think you would struggle if you found, like, I would genuinely be surprised if I sat someone down and went, here's the entire Queen catalog, just listen through it and tell me you don't like any of that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone who told me they didn't like anything out of that catalog, like not one single song, they're a liar as far as I'm concerned. There's no way you can't like something out of that entire catalog.
And there's at least 3, maybe 4 songs that are arguably up there as some of the best that are ever written.
Yes, agreed.
Oh yeah,
like Bohemian Rhapsody is the most used karaoke song.
I would well believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the only song that's actually been voted best song ever twice in Rolling Stone magazine.
Well, it's got everything. It has absolutely everything.
Switches of tempo and everything in it are incredible.
It's man's just a phenomenon. He was.
But see, the thing about Queen is, I mean, if you weren't wanting to dive into their discography, excuse me, all you need to do is check out the first Greatest Hits 1. That's the best Greatest Hits album I think ever released. That or Abigail, they're the 2 best Greatest Hits. That's all you need for each band. But
you ever get when bands put out a Greatest Hits and some of the songs on it you might have a fucking Scooby Doo? What they are?
Yeah.
You're like, how was this in your Greatest Hits?
Yeah, and see, the thing that happens there is that a band is like, this is one that when we play live, we get a really good reaction, or we don't want to have just our popular songs. And I don't get that, because if your greatest hits are going to be your most popular songs. Like I went to Oxygen years ago, right? And the Fratellis were playing, and obviously they were really big with their song Chelsea Dagger, and they were like, they obviously held that off till the end, right? And I understand that they, because so many people only know them for that song, that they were like, if they played it, everyone would just fuck off, so they held to the end. But after that, there was a lot of talk of them being like, I don't know if we're going to play this song anymore. And more recently, Paramore have said they're not going to play. What was their big song that knocked them in?
Their girl band, I don't know.
I can't remember. Her vocals are actually, to be fair to her, her vocals are fucking incredible. Anytime I've heard her sing, she has fucking amazing pipes. Like, but they don't sing that song because one of the lines in it is "once a whore, nothing more," and she's come out and said that she feels that it's very, that at the time they didn't see much of an issue with it, but now they realize that it's very, slut shamey and stuff, so they're not playing it. And I was like, come on, it's your biggest hit.
Yeah, it wasn't intended like that. That's what annoys me about the world today. It wasn't intended like that.
But it's your biggest hit.
Yeah.
It's your like, this was what made you famous, and you're not going to play it. And I understand that, it's your songs and you get to make the decision. But come on, like, it's your biggest hit. Just don't sing that. Like, just change that line if you really want it. Yeah. But do not say you're not playing that song. That's a disgrace.
That goes against the whole ethics of being in a band, being in a rock band, no less. Changing like something because it doesn't fit in today's thing. No.
Imagine going to Queen today, right? Imagine, like, it was still the original lineup, and they were like, yeah, but we're not going to play Bohemian Rhapsody. Sorry. We're just not playing it. Sorry.
Fat Bottom Girls and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just going to play our new stuff. Oh, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I wanted to pay this much for a ticket if I'm not going to hear any of the bangers. Now, you said, Carl, that their greatest hits is one of the best of all time. It's genuinely because they had so many big bangers that you're just like, this is incredible. And like, you're a big heavy metal guy. Rock and heavy metal is my general music now. I'm very spread out. I listen to fucking everything, like fucking boy bands and everything. But like, Queen is universal, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It doesn't matter what style of music you say you like. I don't care if you like rap, rock, pop, jazz. I don't care. Queen is just have everything. Everyone just loves something by Queen.
Yeah.
Right,
no wonder. I'm not surprised that Kerry loves it. Not surprised at all.
I would say Queen have probably the most used song in We Are the Champions as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But don't they use another one, Bites the Dust, as well, in some American American sports as well.
Yeah.
Ice hockey and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they have too much. They actually have too many songs that are just so easily used that it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
People like there's always this talk that you sometimes hear that argument, which is a bigger band, Beatles or Queen?
Queen.
No question for me. And this isn't a shot at the Beatles. I think the Beatles were incredible about what they did, but Queen are the biggest band in the world.
I'll tell you the difference. The difference between the two of them. One was together and they sold more, whereas the Beatles were innovators. They were innovators. But so were Queen as well. But I mean, you got to think the Beatles were at the very cusp of rock music starting off.
Yeah.
So even if you probably ask Brian May, without the Beatles, there'd be no Queen.
Yes, and I do accept that. But like Queen, they're a global phenomenon.
Absolutely.
I don't think I'd be surprised if any band can ever hit that heights again.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't think there's a band in the world now, even if you put a hell of a lineup together, like you could pick the 5 best bands in the world that'd sell out a stadium like they did.
No.
Yeah.
Is it that picture from Hyde Park or somewhere? One of the big parks in England where they played at an outdoor venue, and it's just sea of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible.
There's probably 200,000 or 300,000 people there.
Yeah, no.
The only other picture I can kind of compare to that, Ted, you might know this one, is when Metallica played in Moscow.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And there was rumored to be 1.2 million people at the fucking show.
Yeah, I do remember that one. That's the only other comparable one.
Yeah.
But even still, like
that's a lot of people. That 1.2 million.
Imagine being at the back of that fucking queue at that show.
What did they say?
Is that even them up there? But yeah, like, and this is another one of those films similar to the Doors one. Do you know?
Yeah.
Now this one was a little bit more PG. Like the Doors went, as you said, Doors went in warts and all. Whereas they definitely stepped away here a lot on some of the stuff that was going on in the backstage at Queen and things like that. But they didn't shy away from a lot of things as well. Now they were very candid about that, especially Freddie, who, wasn't openly gay as a thing.
He was married, wasn't he? He was married to a girl, his best friend.
Yeah, he was married to her.
Mary
so
or something. Yeah.
To all outwards appearances, he was just flamboyant. But
yeah, she was his best mate, like,
Yeah, like the marriage was a sham in reality. It was to ward off all these rumors and stuff, because
apparently,
at the time, he was quite, it could have crippled the band, and that's the truth.
Well, I allegedly read a story there that when he married her, like, she hadn't got a whole lot of anything.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't divorce her, even though everyone knew he was gay at the end. He wouldn't divorce her, so that when he passed away,
he'd keep it.
Nobody could stop her getting
what she was.
And that's the thing,
what a man.
Yeah. Like, this is his best friend as well, So, like, as a film, phenomenal. Quite recent. But as I said, it's in that same vein. Like, they did one for Elton as well.
Yeah, which wasn't bad as well either.
Rocket Man wasn't bad either. Yeah. But it's that vein where it's it's a biopic, but it's Hollywood. It is.
Yeah, it's stylized.
Yeah, like you put it into the Hollywood style, but that's probably like, I can see why you have that ahead. Like the Doors is a tough watch. This is definitely more enjoyable.
Yeah.
And it's Queen. Like, come on, like sitting there listening to that soundtrack, you're always going to be kind of like, yeah, this is good. This is good
times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was Bohemian Rhapsody number 6. We got into top 5.
Top 5. These are the ones that you were more confident with their positioning.
Yes, and I've reasons for all of them. So
okay,
so number 5 is Walk the Line.
Yeah,
this is
not Dewey Cox. Sorry.
This is my favorite biopic.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm a huge Johnny Cash fan. And I have been since I was about 12. For someone that doesn't like music, I have a certain few artists that I really like.
Yeah.
I thought James Mangold done a hell of a job with this. I think I wasn't overly happy. I remember was it 2004, 2005 it came out. I wasn't overly happy with the casting at that time.
Before you saw the film, like?
Yeah, before I saw the film, yeah. And I would have watched a lot of movies growing up and things, and I wasn't. I remember not being overly happy with it, and boy, I was wrong.
Yeah,
Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon
Nailed.
were fucking
Nailed it.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
And look, if you looked at that now, I'd say that's exactly how Johnny Cash and June Carter were.
yeah,
Yeah, it's the what is it? The rapport between the two of them is
Yeah.
just phenomenal.
it was, you know, like there is dark moments in it, not overly graphic or anything. It's dark, you know, because he
Well,
was like,
apart from the brother passing away,
yeah,
Yeah.
he had a dark
side.
history, yeah, dark side. But I think they encompassed it very, very well the way they did it, and I don't think they couldn't have got a better actor than Joaquin
Character,
Phoenix to portray that darkness.
He did it very well, didn't he?
Johnny had a lot of troubles, and they displayed the worst of it.
Yeah,
Well, like where you see him living with Bob Dylan, and was it Bob Dylan he's living with in Memphis? Yeah, I think it was Bob Dylan, and like you see him going out, and he walks out to try and get June Carter to do a show because he's broke.
Yeah,
and he's like, no, and then he finds a house somehow.
Of course,
not real, but
no. I mean, he had his ups and downs with life. You know, from what we know, obviously, he wasn't a squeaky clean guy by any stretch of the imagination. He never claimed to be.
Most of them weren't back at that stage, were they?
Exactly.
I love his live album live from
the prison. Yeah,
where he's like, he has like, you hear it quite well at the start, at the end of it when he's talking. He's going to start singing Cocaine Blues, and he's like, I have on occasion got busted.
Yeah.
I went down to Mexico. He's like, oh, you heard about that? Pills back from Mexico. But like, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he changed the game, going and doing an album in 2 different prisons. So he done obviously Folsom Prison, and he done San Quentin.
Yeah.
The 2 biggest prisons in America. Like,
and were they the biggest selling prison albums of all time, Craig?
I would imagine so. I'd say they're probably the only ones.
I was never a huge Johnny Cash fan. I don't know what it is about him. He has a couple of songs that I'm like, yeah, I really like these. But overall, I was never massively sold on him.
Fair, that's fair.
The film is quite good. It's quite in depth. It, you know, as it does not shy away to what his life was like. And you know, like, he was never shy about it either. He, like, as you said, he was never like, no, I was squeaky clean. I was this, I was that. Like, you know, a lot of the people from that generation were quite honest about it. You know, they didn't pretend. Oh yeah, no, like, yeah, no, I'm on drugs. Yeah, I think definitely, I'm taking whatever I can get. Yeah, grand, no bother. He
was like, there's a reason people call him the original rebel. Really.
Yeah.
He fought against everything, and like, I think the movie was so accurate in terms of, because his daughter Roseanne came on and done parts of it with them.
Yeah.
That obviously that she could remember, like,
legitimized it even more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only thing I would say is, like, it's a shame I don't think he got to see it. Like, he died in 2003.
Yeah.
And it's 2005. I think this came out.
Here's a question though for Carl: Hurt, Johnny Cash or 9 Inch Nails?
Well, you see, both adaptations are very different.
Yes, they are.
Hurt by Johnny Cash is basically him finishing up his career.
Yeah.
And looking at the end of his life. And it's very apparent and very obvious in the way he's singing it.
There's a lot of feeling. Yeah.
9 Inch Nails version is very, very different in a sense, because it's the style that Trent Reznor wrote in. But when, like, they're like 2 totally different songs. I'd probably say I prefer 9 Inch Nails version.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm the exact same. 9 Inch Nails. Just
I have a thing there for you, right? So, sorry, go ahead, Ted. Finish off there what you're saying.
No, I was just be the same as Carl. I think just the style of it just hits me more, and obviously that's the style of music we're both into. So obviously it just resonates that bit more. As I said, Johnny Cash, you know, I like Hurt. I like Boy Named Sue. You know, I Walk the Line. Like, there's quite a few songs I do like by him. The style just isn't the one that I was ever massively into, so it was always going to be that. but you obviously are into Johnny Cash, so that's why I was a bit interested there. I know Greg wouldn't be into Nine Inch Nails, so I know which one he's going to go with.
I actually don't mind that version. That's on my Spotify list.
Yeah, but you would be more of a Johnny Cash guy than you would a Nine Inch Nails guy. So that's why I was interested with Carl's, because he's he's the middle of both of us.
I know. I have one there for you though, right? So me and Alan had a bet a couple of years ago over this, right? So Trent Reznor wrote Hurt, but who did he write it for? Because he didn't write it for Nine Inch Nails.
Marilyn Manson, was it?
Nope.
David Bowie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was one of them. Yeah.
So I would be interested in that now. Bowie version.
He sang with them before, I believe.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, but I'd be interested if it was a solo, like it was Bowie rather than.
I don't think it would have worked.
I don't know.
Bowie was a genius, but I just don't think it would have worked. Like I lost, but I didn't lose that bet. I had said one thing and he had said another, and then we were both kind of just
both wrong.
Well, not both wrong, both done it, but
yeah,
it was who was it wrote for? So we kind of.
Thing is that Bowie would have been a very different version to either of these two boys again. So I would have loved to hear what version he'd have gone with if he was allowed.
The great thing is he could have. I mean, like he had some pretty rocky songs as well.
Yeah.
And very, very creepy emotional things as well. So he would have done he would have done a closer version of it than Johnny, you know.
Yeah.
He was arguably probably one of the most polarizing figures.
Yes.
Because you never knew what you were going to get with him.
And that's what made him so relevant and so fresh for so long, you know.
And then he had Ziggy Stardust.
Ziggy played guitar.
I'm a big Bowie fan now, I have to say. So I would have been interested to hear what way he would have gone with it. Would he have gone the rock route, or would he have gone the Johnny Cash route and gone
electronic,
or like would he have gone completely balls to the wall, something else? Who knows what he would have done? So it would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I like both versions that we have, but I was just interested to see someone who is a fan of both.
Yeah,
which one they would go with, because I think most do actually say Nine Inch Nails is their preferred version.
It resonates with me more, even though I feel for Johnny in his version.
Yeah, and that's why I knew Greg would be the other side. I knew Greg would be a Johnny one. So I was like, I'm one, Greg's the other. I was like, what's Carl going to go with? So I get the win on that one. Thanks, Greg.
Sorry, Greg.
This isn't Retrotainment recast, lads.
I know, yeah. No. I was duped into that. Sorry about that.
He was duped. I played my cards. That
was it was a phenomenal film, but Reese Witherspoon as well was just unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I would have never have guessed she had a voice like that.
I know, yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
Gee, yeah.
And even Joaquin Phoenix's voice kind of encapsulates the change that Johnny Cash had.
Yeah.
The kind of gritty voice he had as well.
Yeah.
Wait, so what is it? Steady like a train, sharp like a razor.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that definitely deserves to be, like, as I said, I'm not a big Johnny Cash guy, but definitely deserves to be in the top 5. And again, it's another one of those biopic style ones, but again, very good.
Yeah,
absolutely. So number 4 is it's another fictional thing, but it's got old music in it. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
The George Clooney movie.
Yes.
I've only seen this once, and it was years ago.
I went to see it twice in the cinema.
God, you're old.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I don't deny that shit. Look at me.
Yeah,
like you've been racing today. You were born, Carl. Let's be fair.
At least I'm not red. You know.
This is a good one. This is a good one. Now,
at least this will stay this color.
Yeah, but Carl will go to heaven and you won't, because you've no soul. So
means I'll stay here forever.
Yeah, on your own.
This is a banger now, to be fair. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Very pulls on heartstrings in a way.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an easy watch. It's not one you'd be like, I'll sit down and watch this over and over again either.
But you know something? They're probably the 3. I don't like cheering for people who are meant to be bad guys.
Yeah.
Now they're prisoners. They're prisoners, but Jesus, they're so sweet.
That's not entirely true, Carl. We've gone through this on the Slab. We normally cheer for the bad guys.
I know. I'm trying to say for
point negated. Take it away.
I'm just your plaything, lads. Here, I'm like, Jesus,
Yeah,
lads.
it's a strange one though,
Me
because
and
this
Ted
is
are like cats here, just batting you back and forward.
this one is a strange one though, because it's a comedy to an extent.
Yeah.
And obviously it's about criminals, but like as I said, it does pull on heartstrings.
Yeah, very much so.
Which is not normally the way with this style of film.
No, and then as well as that, the type of music that it is, a kind of bluegrass country, like this particular film and the soundtrack of it really opened up the rest of the world to bluegrass, you know, and it's because of this album that I actually like bluegrass now. You know,
have you ever been to the Bluegrass Festival?
No.
That they have in Alma?
No. Have you?
No, not my kind of music. But I know because obviously I go to Letterkenny quite a bit. I've dropped by dropped by it quite a few times. Like there's an actual, it's called Bluegrass Park or something.
All right, no, I have never been there. No.
That might be a day trip for you there, Carl.
I think so.
He's writing it down.
I'm just writing it down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's writing it down. Go to the bluegrass concert.
Greg is a legend.
Point for Greg.
Carl loves Twilight. Point gone.
Yeah, this film was enjoyable. It's like, you know, it's a feel good film. The music is, you're listening to it, and then they become, you know, earworms. Those songs,
they're stuck in your mind.
Yeah. So again, we won't stay on too long about this one. It's a great film. Great actors are in it.
Yeah.
Really enjoyable, and yeah, it's up there for me in my top 5.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, deserves to be fair. Like as you say, it's a weird one because it's kind of similar to the Warriors in a sense that like they're all definitely bad guys. Like all of them are definitely bad guys.
Yeah.
But they're portrayed as the good guys in the film.
Almost anti-hero. That's what they say.
Yeah. But it's like similar to Warriors. You know, like they are all like they're basically a gang from the 80s. They're all really shitty people to an extent.
Prior to that film, they probably stabbed a few people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, you know,
seven dead in mass murder.
I mean, like one of them basically gets arrested because he's going to rape your one in the park and stuff. Like they're definitely shitty people, but the entire time you're like, yeah, get them home. Come on, lads.
That's because even shittier people are trying to kill them.
Exactly, yeah. So like, even though they're criminals, you're still kind of like, yeah, but they're the good guy criminals.
The lesser of two evils.
I mean, those other people just misinterpreted the rules.
No, well, they were tricked. They were tricked by a very convincing bad man, you know?
David
yeah. Booker T up there, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely deserves to be in a 4th place.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what the podium positions are though now with
okay. So I was considering, should I switch 3 and 2? And I'm not going to, because it'll be a bit of controversy for number 2, or it'll be controversy, or people like, what the fuck is that film? What is that?
No, okay.
Right? So number 3 is Whiplash with what's his name?
Roller skating movie?
Whiplash. No, it's about drumming. Miles Teller and
another
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, it's another like drama document. Like, well, it's not so much of a documentary show, but yeah.
Have you not seen that, Greg?
I have not.
I would suggest you go and you get it, watch it. It's absolutely phenomenal. Basically, in a nutshell, Miles Teller is a student doing jazz drumming, and he wants to try out for the kind of the big jazz school. And J.K. Simmons, I keep going to say J.K. Rowling. J.K. Simmons is the teacher that he wants to enlist for, and he's a fucking cunt in it. He's an absolute prick.
Yeah.
But it's very, very, very good, you know.
I'm just looking at it here.
It's not a long one.
No, it's not. Yeah.
94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's not a long one. I don't want to go too much into it now because obviously Greg hasn't seen it, so I don't want to give away too much. But for a podium position, it deserves to be there.
Very intense. It is a bit of a hard watch, to be honest with you. But
it's not. Yeah, you're not going to watch this 2 or 3 times a year.
No,
like, this is kind of once, and then you might come back to it in a couple of years.
You'll be glad you've watched it when you watched it, though.
Yeah, it's not one you're going to want to watch again.
I do like J.K. Simmons.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's
Yeah.
such a good actor. I mean, who would have thought he was a fucking Eminem? Do you know what I mean? For years.
He's a what?
You know the ads, the Eminem ads.
Yeah, he's one of the M&Ms.
The yellow Eminem.
Yeah.
You can just see it.
But what I like in that is like just on that, like the yellow M&M is kind of like the loser one, the one that gets bullied, and that is not the way he is in this film. He's taking all that M&M rage out in this film. He is.
JK, channel your inner Eminem.
Oh, he goes off on this one. I don't want to go too far into that one because Greg hasn't seen it, but
exactly.
Definitely, if anyone hasn't seen it, get on it, yeah.
What I might do, boys, if you want, I might make a playlist of 10 tracks, a track from each song or from each film, and then you can put it up in the links with this, maybe.
Yeah, if you pick your favorite, or well, maybe not your favorite, but just whichever tracks you want from it, and hash them in there. It's obviously
they can't all be from Bohemian Rhapsody.
No,
just Kerry would like.
Yeah, I'll let her pick the film, the one from that one.
Yeah, I think we know which one it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, number 2 is, as I said, it's the one that I thought maybe Whiplash should have been in, but it's not. So this, all I'm going to say is, and you'll probably, Greg, you'll probably get, or Ted, you'll probably get these. The number 2 and number 1 are made by the same people.
Okay.
And number 2 is about kind of bluegrass stuff again, country stuff.
Okay.
And it's a mockumentary, not a documentary.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
I think I do, but I don't want to say it because I think I might get the name wrong.
Yeah, I will tell you. It's A Mighty Wind.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have got the name.
Let me explain, Gregory. It's basically, so that goes hand in hand with number 1, but this is about, it's meant to be about like guys who were on a record label, like a bluegrass kind of country label, and the owner died, and they were all real close to him, and the family want to do like a memorial gig for him, and so it's done like a documentary, so they're documenting the whole thing. So there's they focus on 3 or 4 different bands, and one is a real old band, and then there's more kind of up-to-date ones. Eugene Levy is in it, for example.
What a man.
He's brilliant in it. But again, since you haven't seen it, I won't go in too much about it, but I love this film. I love the soundtrack, and like the lads who are in this film wrote the music, they perform the music themselves, and to me that's even more special, you know. So A Mighty Wind is that one.
Yeah,
because A Mighty Wind.
A mighty wind.
You know, so when you fart, you know.
Yeah, like a mighty wind, Craig, you know.
I don't fart.
It comes out your nose, does it? Yeah.
What do you think I do? It just comes out, it just seeps out the top.
Yeah, it's a mockumentary, so like it's, you know, it kind of takes the piss out of those, like the documentary ones. Like I said, like I said, you know,
I've seen this.
The likes of you know, where they follow Metallica around and they're like, we're documenting our tour. That it's the ass, but they're like taking the piss out of doing that. It's very good.
I think I've seen that. Looking at there's a little video they played there when I googled it, and some of that is familiar.
Like there's one bit in it where the main kind of old band, their big song, they're getting ready to play their big song, and the band that go on before them, they play their version of the other band's big song, and they're listening to it on the radio behind backstage, and they're like, they're playing their fucking song. What are we gonna do? We're gonna play it. We're gonna play it anyway.
That's a big no-no, isn't it, Carl?
Yeah. Oh, I remember years ago, we were doing when Dio passed away, and we put together a show in Dublin and in Belfast, and we got bands to play. What you were to do was play 3 songs of Dio, of any of his bands, and then your own set. So we gave a list of the songs that we were going to play both nights to all the bands, and one of the bands from the north came up to us and like, yeah, we're playing Heaven and Hell. I was like, no, you're not.
No, we're playing.
He's like, what? I was like, we're playing Heaven and Hell. And he goes, well, that's part of our set. We've always played it. Well, I said, not tonight. And he goes, you can't tell us that. And I goes, I can, because it's our gig. So you can either not play the gig or play the gig. But if you play the gig, you play the song, I'll kick your head in.
Yeah. It's
So they
take that guitar and
they didn't play the song, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big no-no. You know, you don't play somebody else's song. And I know, like, technically it's not your song and it's not their song, it's Dio's song. But
Yeah.
you organized the gig and you preemptively told everyone these are the 3 Dio songs that we're taking, so just don't play those. So it's a modicum of respect to not do it.
Yeah.
Play Holy Diver.
What we did at the end of the Dublin show was, and I think it's up on YouTube actually, we got everyone from all the bands up on stage, and we all did it.
Deadly.
I'll send the link to you later. Yeah, it's a bit of fun, you know.
Just on A Mighty Wind, I loved how old school they made this look, because obviously it's set in kind of like the 60s, 70s sort of thing, like in that style. And I loved, like, this isn't that old. So
in the early 90s, I think.
2003 it's made.
Wow.
2003, yeah.
There you go. They made it look great, didn't they?
I was going to say, I thought it might have been late 90s, but yeah, even 2003. But it looks like it's an old film.
Yeah.
If that like it now, it's obviously not, because you can see how clean and, you know, it's not really grainy or anything.
Yeah.
But the style of
the feel of it.
Yeah, like the style of how everyone looks and how the sets look. It's very, you know, oh yeah, this is what it would have looked like back then. So that was one of the great things about it.
Yeah.
Because you kind of felt like you were drawn into it. But yeah, I won't go too much into it because Greg's not sure if he's seen that one. So we'll.
I'm sure of it. Christopher Guest anyway.
Yeah, Michael McCain. Yeah, they're all in it.
Which will give me the option as to I know what number 1 is.
Yeah, but before we get to number 1, Carl said he had a few.
I did, but I actually threw out the list. Okay. But I'll try and remember what was on it. Walk Hard was definitely on it.
Walk Hard that was comic gold.
Yeah. What's Love Got to Do with It about Tina Turner? You know, it's a pretty dark film, but it's brilliant.
That's a new one, is it?
Yeah, it's quite new. Yeah.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Like, you know,
it's not enjoyable.
No, it's educational.
But it's not enjoyable. It's brilliant, but not enjoyable. Like you see how bad things were.
We had Blues Brothers, but it's not. You know, it is a great film, but not one of my top 10. You know,
it didn't age well either.
Oh.
First, I only rewatched the 2 of them there. The first one is really hard to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The second one is far better. The Blues Brothers 2000 is far easier to watch.
And I think anything with 2000 in the title, I just can't watch.
Was Wayne's World in it?
Of course, Wayne's World 2, because they try and put on the festival.
Yeah.
And you have Jim Morrison in it, and then the Indian and all.
The weirdest thing was there. I only rewatched Wayne's World 1 and 2 there not so long ago.
I was actually going to put them in as a package in the top 10, but then I just didn't.
Yeah.
And that night I drove home and I listened to Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell. Wake up the next morning to hear then that he passed away. I was like, here. I was in Wayne's World as well.
Yeah.
I was like, here. I killed him.
It was fake.
These ones are a little bit newer. I don't know if they would have made it into your list, but A Star Is Born.
No.
I thought that was actually very good.
Lady Gaga, is it?
Yeah. I thought it's
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, it's not a story of her life or anything though. Like it is a good film. And Straight Outta Compton, which I actually thought they did really well with.
I like it.
I wouldn't put it in a top 10. Now I will admit that I wouldn't put it in a top 10, but they did a really good job with it, like a way better job than they thought they were going to do.
The likenesses were very good.
Yeah,
and the way that the guys portrayed the actors portrayed the rappers.
Yeah,
because I would have liked, like I'm not into the philosophy of rap and all that shit. I like old school kind of gangster rap, but I wouldn't be like, I'll follow their careers or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
I would have liked NWA. I would have liked Ice Cube, that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, I'd be quite similar. I'd be quite similar. I listen to a lot of that old rap. I listen to a lot of Eminem. I'd listen to some kind of more modern rap. I wouldn't be big into it, as it's not
rap anymore.
No, it's just mumbling words.
It's a lot of mumbly. I don't really like.
Dribble.
I don't know if this one would be considered a music film because it doesn't really do a whole lot with music, but you know, the premise is that they want to learn to play guitar and be good at it. Bill and Ted.
Yeah, you could put it in there because there's a rocking soundtrack to it, really. But
yeah, it doesn't really focus on the fact that they play music, but more just that, you know, this is clearly what they love doing.
They're into
music.
it, yeah.
But that's a great film as well.
Eight Mile would have been in it for me.
It's good, but again,
I mean, it won an Oscar for best soundtrack.
Yeah, but that's because it was an Oscar in modern day. Think of it that way.
Yeah, it kind of takes away from the fact that I was saying that, you know, like if it's just your own songs, you shouldn't really be winning an Oscar for it. Yes. And then it kind of did. But yeah, 8 Mile. It's good there for me. I really enjoyed it as a film as well, to be fair.
It's definitely worth an honorable mention from me. Put it that way.
Yeah. We'll get to your number one anyway. I think everyone's going to be able to guess since we know who the director is and it hasn't been mentioned yet. But go ahead, Kate.
This is Spinal Tap.
Turn it up to 11.
This was the first big one, really, in that kind of style.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what I will say to you, gentlemen, nearly everything in this film, all rock musicians will have experienced. You know,
it's very true. Very true to reality.
Years ago, we were playing in down the country somewhere, and we were backstage, and we were going through like the whole back area, and we got lost. And I actually went, "Hello, Cleveland." So it was actually like that. Another time, we thought we were playing a gig with a certain band. Now this is just a comparison, like, you know, when they're playing below, they're supporting a puppet show.
Yeah.
So we were playing with a band, and I'm like, we're not fucking supporting them. We're meant to be the big boy, you know, like. So you know what I mean. Then also, like, we would have seen other bands when we were playing gigs and in hotels, whatever, and thinking that they would have known us, and they didn't, and you know, everyone knew them. So like all that kind of shit happens to bands in some way, shape, or form. It's just so funny, and it's so good how it's done, and the fact that they wrote the songs and performed them all is amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
What I love with this one is that obviously it's a mockumentary, but it is very real to the way things are for a lot of stuff. But what I love is that they also they played up to the stereotype of the time of people who were into rock music are all into drugs. They're all kind of, and the main drug that they kind of associated to it was just weed, like, and you know, they're all a bit brain dead because of it, and the whole turn it up to 11. It's like, no, it only goes up to 10, but 11's a bigger number. And they were like, yes, that's right. 11 is a bigger number. I think it is a bigger number, but we can still only make it go this loud. So like 11 would still be the same as 10. It's just one bigger. And he's like, but it's a bigger number. And I love that they were like, you know, there is arguments to be made here that, you know, it's very disrespectful to some people in rock to say that, oh, well, they're all kind of idiots. And, you know, maybe it is, but I think everyone in rock kind of accepted that, you know, there is a lot of idiots around us and stuff like this does happen. Like, obviously no one's ever turned around and been like, well, maybe people have, I don't know. But like, you know, everyone kind of got that, you know, this is still the max volume. No matter what number you put on it, it's still the same volume, whatever you put on it. But I love the fact that they played into that. They were like, yeah, he just can't get it. He just can't get it. That it's going to be the same sound. We can make it 11, but it's not going to matter. And then in the film, he turns it up to 11, and he, you know, he's like, now we're rocking, and you're like, it's the same as what you had before, mate.
Yeah. All I love is the whole, like you said, the stereotypical thing that they all thought they were tough guys back in those days, and yet they were wearing fucking spandex and all this kind of shit, you know, or you know, you've been making faces on stage, and then they're just like, oh no, how's it going? Like, you know, it is a character on stage. Like, it is like when you're performing on stage, it is like a character.
Oh, yeah, you have to be on.
Yeah, like, I mean, I remember someone said to me, like you wouldn't believe the amount of stuff that's been said to me over the years, like, as in just questions or comments or whatever. Like, someone said to me, do you wear those combat shorts at home? And I was like, yeah, of course I do. Like, what do you expect me to wear, leather on stage? Like, you know, and they're like, well, you should have like an on-stage costume. And I was like, what do you want me to do? Wear? And I was like, do you want me to wear leather or fucking spandex or something? Then they were like, something to think about, isn't it? I was like, no, it's not.
You don't want to see this in spandex.
You know what I mean? But like,
The thing is, it works for some people. Like some people, that whole leather and spandex, it does work. And if that's the style of your band, it works. But like, it's not going to be for everyone. I mean, you're looking at AC/DC. We have a guy who's in his like what 70s?
70s now, yeah.
And he's still wearing a school uniform because, and like, obviously, the whole thing is that when he went for the audition, he had to go from school and he had school uniform. And then they were just kind of like, it's kind of funny. You should just kind of keep wearing it. So obviously, like, he's got them tailor made and bigger school uniforms and stuff. But that's the gimmick. Like he's not sitting around wearing that at home, like he's not wandering around the streets and that, but it's become part of their thing. So he has to. Like he has to wear that on stage. If you went to see them and he wasn't in that, you'd be a little bit disappointed. Like,
what's he doing in that fucking green jacket? Come on.
What the hell's that guy doing in normal clothes? Go put on some children's school uniforms, you asshole.
Kid sizes only. Come on.
Yeah. But like, you know what I mean? Like for some people, just what they normally wear, that's fine. Yeah. Other people, no, you need to step into the gimmick. Like you've made a name for yourself with this gimmick. You got to stick to it now, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. Like I would have certain, like say certain combat shorts I'd only wear on stage. Yeah, so it is kind of like a uniform, but it's not. They're very similar to what I'd wear at home. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now I mean his one is definitely the big
extreme.
Yeah, like it's the big extreme of it. But you've got guys like Chris Jericho who would kind of wear that sort of stuff anyway.
Yeah, kind of dazzling.
But that's when he's out and about. I can't imagine the guys sitting at home in leather pants and stuff like that. Like
you wouldn't know him.
You wouldn't know, but
can see that.
No, but you'd imagine that when he's sitting
especially
at home.
Now.
Yeah, when he's sitting at home and there's definitely like no cameras, no anything around. He's probably sitting at home. Like the man lives in quite a warm place. He's probably sitting at home in shorts and t-shirts and stuff. Like he's not walking around the house like waking up in the morning. Better get the leather pants on, dear, before I go down and make the breakfast.
Imagine.
It's a persona
that baby oil first and slide them on.
God.
Yeah, it's a persona that you put out there. Like it's not that that's how you dress all the time.
But I have a quick story to tell you about leather pants. Actually.
Oh dear.
Nothing to do with me.
Okay.
Myself and a few mates went over to see a gig in the UK, and one of the lads had leather pants but he had no underwear on. Right?
Oh no!
And he was chafing all fucking night. Anyway, we're going back on the tube, and he really needs to have a shit.
Oh, I know where this is going.
He ran behind where we were on the platform, and just dropped trail and just destroyed the place. But he destroyed his fucking trousers as well. So we're going back on the tube. He's stinking of shit. Yeah. The next day, stinking of shit. And I just said, oh, you fucking scumbag.
I said, go buy some trousers.
Yeah. I said, oh, yeah, go buy like a pair of shorts or something, will you? He's like, I don't wear shorts. I said, well, you'd rather wear shitty leather pants? And he's like, yeah. I was like, you fucking idiot.
I mean, what? First of all, that's disgusting itself. But what the hell was this guy thinking? I'll wear leather pants with nothing on underneath.
And
that
probably
is a terrible decision.
And probably hoping to score with a few chicks as well.
But it definitely wouldn't have been smelling like that, I'd say. But Jesus, imagine how raw your legs, your thighs, everything would be from that fucking leather.
This dude thought he was a tough guy,
Yeah, well, that's the persona that he'd obviously built up in his own mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that's it. That's a great list. Obviously, some people are going to disagree with certain things you put there.
It's my list.
Obviously, this is a very subjective one because it's, you've got mockumentaries, you've got documentaries, you've got drama, you've got comedy. That's the thing. Like, as you said, it's your list. I can't fault any of those films being there. As I said, as Greg had said, 8 Mile would probably be in one if I was doing one.
That's fair.
But if someone says to me, no, it's not in mine because this are ahead of it,
do you know what actually
say no.
Might have made one of mine, obviously not be anything. Get Rich or Die Trying was a very well shot movie.
That's about 50 Cent, isn't it?
Yeah. I know,
it's shot 9 times.
50 Cent was good for like two albums. But Jim Sheridan done a very good job with that. That was
unusual pairing, isn't it? 50 Cent and Jim Sheridan.
Yeah, it was filmed up in Ardmore as well.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I remember big stuff being made about the fact because that was when he was at the height of his fame, I suppose. But yeah, it's a great list. It was great to have you back on again.
Thanks
Carl.
again. Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
We'll get you on for another Retrotainment where it's a film rather than your top 10 list. But this was definitely just as enjoyable, maybe more enjoyable. I don't know. That'll be something we have to be.
I think when you get a few more films to talk about, it becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah,
it does, because you can kind of vibe off the different styles of the films as well.
Well, we kind of do that with On the Slab, but we really vibe off each other with the couple of different films to talk about,
Yeah. And definitely something to go check out if you're into horror. If you're not into horror,
go check it out anyway.
Subscribe to us, will you?
If you're not into horror, just hit a subscribe and then just like their videos. You don't have to watch them. It's fine. Just like them. Don't watch them if you don't want to, but help the boys out. And obviously, if you're into music and specifically Irish rock music, check out King Rose Court, because the back catalogue is currently going up. There has been some new episodes. I'm not saying it's all the old stuff, but old stuff is going up every other day, maybe every day as well.
Yeah, I'm doing what I can.
Some big names of the Irish scene in there, definitely.
There's a couple of international heads as well in there. So
there's one or two that I'm waiting to see go up.
Your one, for example.
No, I actually don't care about my one. There's one or two with international heads that I'm interested in seeing go back up again. And I'm sure you can't wait to put them up. Crowbar, specifically, can't wait to see them go back up. But check all of that out. Obviously, like, share, subscribe on all of those and all of our stuff. But until next week, good luck.
Adios.